You can set up.
Well,
I took a picture of each other outside. No, it doesn't. Sorry.
is this, it's over
Special counsel meeting.
I think you're right, though. I just figured.
So Matthew, I suppose, since this was posted as a special city council meeting,
You have to take minutes. The chair's over there, usually. Put your chair over there. This does it every single court.
And,
Fire truck.
Yes, sir.
He did not win for like
Car
6 rounds and he won.
Well, no, whenever I was here,
He got pretty sad. But like in the 7th grade,
we
we visited our shops upstairs. Yeah. Yeah, we walked right from somebody, we draw, under the like these little berry bag things, just like little trinkets in the bag. Right, like a month, $5. Little fidgety little
Liking the
things,
right
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I guess they're not like little mushrooms.
We tagged it.
Little books that were.
Yeah, I hate it, but
Little berry bag.
sometimes, yeah, we just gotta wake up.
I wish somebody was 70 and in there. I'm like, I don't know this.
Must have missed that.
It just like wiggles out.
I would be shocked.
I was just like, yeah, holding a fight.
Yeah, sure is. That's probably what it was. So if you want to use a computer, you let me know, girl. At least this one first.
That cord is very tight. I would have moved that long.
there, came back on.
Yeah. This is what we do every fortnight because we plug it in and then we try to like keep it out of the way.
Yeah.
what's a sign-in on this? Can
I
I
think it's your own personal account.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I think that's.
I don't know. More wiggle.
I think.
Ooh. We've been trying to get our gutters cleaned out for the last several weeks, and it just didn't work out. They overflowed, and that's our basement window, the water flowed in halfway up it from the well, the window well. So Jed's out there with a the big yellow bucket, dumping it out. We climbed up in the rain and just got all the weeds out. Reminded me of like the scene from Titanic where the water's starting to go over the portholes.
How's the grade around it?
So this is like in the front garden bed, which has a sidewalk in front of it. So it's like, it's a pretty flat area.
And you expect us to see that?
All the way, can you see that?
No.
Oh, sorry.
It was built up that,
So there, so
it was just over one.
building.
Is that the first time it's happened?
Yeah, we never had that happen before.
You're gonna go to the third city council member to live in that house?
No way. Yeah, cool.
Okay. Beverly?
Beverly Bollinger,
Okay.
Daniel Bone.
Daniel Bone. And
Have you got those things that cover the walls?
Yes, we did not have one up there. It got hit by hail and like there's holes all in it, so I just threw it away. So it's better.
locker room a little bigger now, Jerry.
The system worked.
So we put that, wheel that rack back in there.
You have to notice on my phone, I meant to tell you that.
I mean, that thing's
Birthday
handy,
and
but
that day.
because those really don't fit very good.
All you gotta is quit talking about and find somebody.
Hey, you get that-
Program on it.
Get the switch in the light. We'll have,
I don't know how to make that bigger.
Hold control and scroll up, or there's a little magnifying button on the bottom right hand.
It's like a little plus sign.
We have
Yeah.
time to roll with it, you know, because
Down there, at the bottom right hand corner. You're 100%, you can bump that up to a higher number. Okay, it's still saying.
Well, you might need to lop off some, or hide some columns.
We can slide over to
You
the
just
right
get it.
more.
I tell my husband, your turn, turn it off.
Okay, well,
And then we'll go like this. Okay, there you go.
for those who have, okay.
We
And
had,
Linda.
Okay.
we have linked the salary schedule to the budget, so we make an on-time change, like go from 4% to 5%, or 6, they'll automatically build the budget gaps in.
But before we start that, it was brought to our attention several months ago that there was 0.5 from 2020.
Do we need to call the meeting to order?
I suppose so.
Okay,
Good idea.
okay.
Y'all were saying, does anybody?
Mayor, you need to call the meeting to order.
I'll call this financial meeting to order. Get my watch here, 10:30, at 10:30.
At 10:16?
10:16.
Set your watch at daylight savings, sir.
Yeah.
I don't think that was 16.
Call the roll.
Alderman Mesmer, the meeting's in your hands from now on.
Well, the agenda is special board meeting, so I believe the city clerk needs to call the roll.
Gallagher,
Present.
Messina,
Here.
Scarborough,
Here.
Page, Langer,
Here.
Olson.
When I'm here, I didn't get an email about this meeting, so apparently it went to the Pleasant Valley emails instead of people's personal emails, so they would get the notice.
Linda doesn't get in, but Linda was told. The personnel committee.
are you guys gonna stay there?
Is that okay?
Well, I was gonna move over there so I can see that.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever you find it.
I'm playing music with her.
It's a lot easier on my eyes.
If you wanna come up here and sit, that's fine with me.
Jared, do you want to get the lights on just this side behind you?
Yeah, this,
For the first.
Well, we need to approve the
Well, this-
I
agenda.
said please. Oh, it's dark.
Why do we see it on the agenda?
It was like it's a meeting with an agenda. I mean, maybe-
Oh, there's no meeting minutes to approve, or there's nothing to approve.
I think the consent agenda is approving the agenda for that meeting too, or am I wrong there? When we, at the beginning of meetings, approve, motion to approve the consent agenda, one of the items, in addition to the expenditures, is like this meeting's agenda. Is that true, or is that not true?
It's the minutes from the previous meeting.
Minutes from the previous, and then, okay, so okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the purpose of this meeting is to discuss budget.
I apologize. Can I step out for 2 seconds? The judge needs to talk to me.
Sure.
I have it up.
May we continue?
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the budget for the 2025 calendar year, fiscal year. We're one and the same. And every council member is a part of the finance committee. So that's why I thought it would be exponential for as many aldermen as could to be here today to discuss this preliminary view of the 2025 budget. So, Mr. Slater.
yes, ma'am.
Oh, well then let me back up while you do that. June of 2022, when COVID was high, an ordinance was passed to raise salaries 8% to the base. And it panned out that year that cost of living was at 8.5. So there's a balance of 0.5% hanging out there. 2024 cost of living was increased by 3.2%. 2025 increased by 2.5%. So when we look at increasing salaries,
I've got it right here.
as was given to us in the previous board packet from the study done by McGrath, we need to base our salary increases on something. And I think the COLA is a correct thing to do. If we want to catch up on everything, that's a total of 6.2%. But will our budget, our estimated income support that? So here we go.
So these are numbers that staff has come up with. That 120,000 is not what, that's from Chief Knudsen for the ambulance revenue. And that's pretty standard that we've been doing $10,000 a month. Okay. So are there any questions on that?
Yeah, as far as I know,
The business license set at $70,000 and the gasoline 14,000. We think that business license might be a little bit short, but we want to make sure that before we do that, that we have that new way of capturing the information in place. So, yeah. Hit the down arrow. What am I doing wrong? There we go. Okay, so then liquor license, we should have the Valley Pub open back up again. So that's why we're looking for a little bit more money. I'm fine. And real estate tax, 270,000. That's an increase that Maggie came up with. Looks very reasonable. Me, same with personal property tax, prior year real estate, and prior year personal property sales tax. Okay, so Matthew gave a number, I upped it. I think because of us being able to go out and recognize those cars that had been registered other places that we're going to increase this. I also think that sales tax is going to go up because of, as we talked about the last board meeting, you've got Valley Pub reopening as Foster's and that liquor store replacing the two the bookkeeping place and the hairstyling place, that's gonna bring in sales tax revenue. Yes, ma'am.
The vehicle sales tax goes to a different line item. It goes to Road and Street.
All of it?
I mean, it would obviously be, it would go to revenue, but it wouldn't be.
In that line item, okay. So we may have to take, you wanna take that down then?
Where was it?
It was, we're predicting $854,000 in 2024. The extended is 640,000. So yeah, that's probably way too high.
Yeah.
The extended is, I would not go past the,
750? I don't know where, does anybody have a current
well,
budget document with them?
this 854,000 is the extended amount.
But did that include
It did not
the
include
vehicle? Okay,
the extra.
so maybe that is.
That's divided by 9 times 12.
Okay, so maybe that needs to be an 850 in there.
850. Is the board good with that?
Apologies.
What are you seeing? What do you think, Matthew?
My best guess is to, what was that extended through, when it's got
854.
854, I think that's, should be a pretty good one.
So you go with 854?
I think 854 is good.
Okay,
854 is the board. We'll make that change then. Okay. And then use tax. You'll see the extended and the actual budget for 24. The last two columns are comparing the budget to the 24 budget and the budget to what we actually have extended. Those are new. You've never had those before. Those are pretty good. Let's take a look. Okay, so nobody's got changes, and we'll go down. The surtax is budget for 5,500. And I'm sorry, no. When we talk about the budget, it's this column Q. Okay, so the surtax is 73,500, which is $5,500 more we budgeted last year, but it's $23,000 less than the actual extended. But the actual extended might not be correct because is that a quarterly tax if they bring that in? Or do you know the surtax?
It's monthly.
It's monthly. Okay, so that probably should be accurate then. Fines 152,000, court costs, ballpark permits. Permits will be down because of all the roofing things, but it'll also be up because when they start doing this work at R&L, when they start doing remodeling down at the former Mustang Sally's, are gonna need permits for all that.
I'm sorry, David, can we go back to surtax? I'm
Yeah.
just trying to understand, our 25 budget is set to where our actual is today, essentially. Why would we not go to the extended through the end of the year at the 97,000?
That's a good question. Matthew, that's the number you came up with. Is there a reason when you set that budget at 29? I'm sorry, when you set the budget at 73.5, that's supposed to, it's closer to.
Well, I would be happy to take a look at that.
Okay.
You want to move that up for the meet in the, what's the board's decision? I mean, you want to move it up to the extend
I
24?
mean, if there's a reason to not include what our estimated 24 income is gonna be at 97,000, then perfectly fine. Like, if we're anticipating surtax in 25 to be lower for a reason, then there's no reason to bring it up to our estimated extended to this year, but it's just something that I wanted to ask a question about.
So Matthew can investigate that and give us an update this evening? Is that
Yeah,
possible?
absolutely. I don't like to make guesses. My guess is that when I looked back at 2023, we didn't have any revenue for those last 3 months of the year. We had it
Okay.
monthly up to that point for work, and so my assumption was I'm going to be conservative.
October,
so
November,
that's
December, you
probably
just
what
said.
I have to work with.
Okay.
That's, I will confirm.
It plateaued at the end of the year rather than continuing that upwards. Okay, that makes sense.
Fines 152,000, court costs, permits Oh, I'm sorry.
That looks like it's going up quite a bit. Are we
Yeah.
anticipating
On
that?
fines,
Well, in our report packet, it looks like fines have increased a bit.
Mhm. Yeah. We've also been doing a lot of amnesty, getting people in.
and I think Chief McGinley having more officers helps with that too. Rental income, that's a cell tower.
And that includes that increase in.
Yes. And fingerprint, that's miscellaneous stuff. Police grants, that's what Chief McGinley thinks he'll come up with. Police reports, something that Matthew and the chief both agree on. And the grants, that's, you're gonna see an exact number down the expenses, but that's expenses, the income that we think we'll get from grants. So then we go to miscellaneous, so that 10 this year was 15.
What's miscellaneous income?
What,
Good question.
Anything that doesn't fit in any other category. We try and eliminate as much as we can as far
Yeah.
as miscellaneous expense and miscellaneous income, but there's always gonna be things.
I guess we can't have 500 different income items, so you gotta summarize some of them in miscellaneous.
Yes. Okay, and the park income, that's when people make donations of different things.
Does that reflect the actual, that we've had some donations?
We collected $397 in 24.
Well, you're anticipating
About
that
$100 more.
298 so far.
Right, yeah. If you guys want to lower that or do whatever, it's very small part of the budget, but we can change that. We're inaccurate, obviously. You want to go 300?
Since that's where it is and probably the park use is over, and you might get some, the Christmas tree lighting, but it'll be cold and people will be digging in their pockets.
Right, okay. Interest, another Matthew number, so. Part of that interest will decrease because when we're receiving a little bit over $1,000 a month, that's all one mess for the COVID money that we're spending on Kale. So that should be out there before the end of the year, so that's why you don't see a bigger increase even though the rates have gone up a little bit. Franchise fees, 200,000, that's what we get from utilities to allow them to run, to access their gas lines, pipelines.
To push through the water lines, gas lines.
Okay,
That's part of it.
CDC, DUI, judicial education, law enforcement, are there any questions on those? Lead posting, that's
Those
it.
fees were, those numbers would have come through Sarah, what she sees happening in the court, right?
The JEF fund?
Judicial education.
Actually, Chief McGinley and I came up with that.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, if you're looking at what I get into the JEF, it's $1 per fine. $1 per case that's paid,
Okay.
so.
So right now, that's through September, that's 267.
Which is not accurate. That's an expense probably.
That should be the revenue side.
This is the revenue side. And it,
That's not what it is. It's not what's on my reports.
no, and we'll get, if the board remember last month when we showed the court income, it was zeros. And we found out where that money is and Matthew's making those adjustments.
Okay,
And that will affect this.
all right. That's good that we do.
And so what-
Match it.
What you're saying though, Sarah, what you're saying is we've got the ability to reconcile our income to what you.
It'll show, my report shows a JEF line item.
Yeah. Okay. Get there.
That LAT state fund, have we got that from the state yet, Matthew?
No, I was gonna ask, about that. Is that the Q post?
Yes, should have been like September.
And I send that to the city.
No, this is different. This is the state fund. We
No,
get,
I'm
we
looking
get a
at
check
the
from the
LET,
state as
The
well.
city one.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at one post. I don't know why it says let next to it. It's only post.
We can fix that.
And that I do send to the state and they send it back.
That's that
The
restricted.
let
So
is
you
not
want,
accurate either. That's also on my report.
oh crap.
Let me me look. I can give it
I'll
to
fix it.
Judicial education is
I'm
what
so
line?
much weaker on this.
Is it on the page that has two separate charts on it, or two separate tables? Or is it the one that
It
is
might not be on there.
highlighted yellow? Like,
It's a good question, because
Okay.
it's not something I pay out, so maybe it's not on there. But I can get it to you and I can add it to that report.
Maybe. So everything is apples to apples, that'd be great.
Yeah, the let is 2148 right now. And we have 2 months to go, and it's usually somewhere between 240 and 270. So if you wanna guess 250, I
250 on that?
guess, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, so 250,
We can do
250,
that.
so that would be 2648.
I think,
when you say 250, do you mean 2,500?
No,
No.
I was saying adding it to each month, so,
She's calling, I think, the law enforcement training let.
right,
And then the next
Oh.
line
it's only
should get rid
post.
of let and just say post state fund.
Right, and that is what I send to the post, or to the state, and they send it back to you. And I mean, I have that number, but if you haven't received it from them, I don't know if you should put it in there.
Okay, so you're saying that 49.96 should be $250,
No, it should be $2,648,
2,648.
and that's
Okay,
50 for the next month.
and then what about,
And then
400?
post, I've sent them 1,074 so far.
We get 95% back. This year.
so 1,000's a good budget number? Or you gonna go with 800?
If I add $100, oh, yeah, if you're getting 95%, then yeah, probably.
1,000?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know when they send that to you. You would think it would be
Supposed to be September.
pretty accurate. Oh, they give it to you all at once
Mhm.
each year, so they don't give you the full year. They give you 2 months from the prior year and then the rest of the year.
I was not sure.
I can talk
Well, we
to-
see it once a year.
Okay,
That's supposed to go into that
treasurer.
restricted account.
So the encumbered carry forward is the same as it was prior year?
Can you remove let and just put post?
No, I can when I get back to the office,
on
because,
49.96, that just say
Here.
post.
okay, hold on.
No, 49.98 is just
Okay,
post.
first might have to, but.
And then 49.96
And
is,
just take let out, you said? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, space.
that is nice.
Oh,
Oh my gosh,
my OCD is not like that.
no, it's not. Okay.
So the one above it, the 49.96, should that say let city?
Yes.
Law enforcement training
Because that's,
is lit.
that's the training fund I send to the city for the police, and then I send another portion to the state, and they send it back with 95%.
Yeah, I think we're just talking about like what it's called. If there's a way to like call them something very similar,
They're
like
police officer.
let fund city
State
and let fund
training.
state.
No,
No,
because it's called police officer state training fund,
okay.
and it goes to the treasury.
Things are different and separate and have to be called different things.
I
agree.
Okay,
All right, so there you go, that, spelling is correct.
He's giving over to
We'll
the,
go back to the budget, $1,000 for post-state fund, okay? And,
encumbered carried forward is to balance the budget of the
right,
general
So,
fund
you
expenditures.
mean take that out for right now, just make it zero?
Sure. Why not?
We just did for ballpark, so that you would have that. Okay, donations and grants, so total administrative income is $2,465,742.47 right now, which is $90,000 less compared to the budget of 24, but that's because of the encumbered carry forward and the budget actual.
Can you fix donations?
How much?
So the spelling,
Oh,
The shoes, yeah, kind of like the balloons. So the comparison to 24 had the encumbered guarantor included. If we remove that, our estimated general fund revenue for 25 is greater than 24.
yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to get.
Kind of like what, 150,000 or something like that?
What is my cursor?
We'll make a note for him to.
We'll make a note, there we go, let's move
do
forward.
you have a cursor?
No,
It's hard to
Yes.
see it.
I quite
I
did,
meant
but,
this, do you have a mouse?
no.
Do you need a
Here,
mouse?
wait, here, no, I think we got this now.
I need a
No,
mouse.
you're in the wrong cell though.
Oh,
Let's fix it when
I'll
you're.
fix it, let's go back to real business.
Right, this being important.
All right, so there you go with that.
Yeah, I got one question, Mr. Rocker. Why is franchise fees, I know we've already passed that, why are we estimating $40,000 less than we received?
Just based on what we anticipate receiving in 24 and being conservative. For whatever reason, they're coming in, as we look at them now, they're coming in lower than we budgeted for 24.
There was some legislation passed through the state that affected the cable franchise fees last year. Not to mention that the president of the Senate was a guy who made a living taking cable franchises.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with it.
Jerry, would your donations for if we did the shop at the cop thing, that wouldn't go in there, that would go somewhere else? Okay.
So now here's fire department sales tax, linear fire and fire grants. So again, column Q is the budget. Any questions? Explanations necessary? And we have $800 in police grants. Some dispatching.
You can take that one out. Haven't heard a word from them.
Yeah, well, it's on the budget, but we looked in there so you could see compared to last year.
From who?
Avondale.
Oh,
But if you see, now click on with dispatching. Is that a contractor?
Yes.
Mhm.
Because we were extended $58,000 in 24.
Yeah, that 92,000 looks all.
Matthew, did you use, or whoever came up with that number? Did we?
Which, the 92?
Yeah.
That's based on, I think their contracts for 70,
I'd have to look at it.
400, and it's a 3% increase each year.
Oh, so we just haven't been paid everything this year yet?
I would say not, if that's all we have.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, we'll take a look. That's a good catch.
They're supposed to bring it in every month.
Okay. So there's-
Are we supposed to bill them?
We
think you
said we invoice another.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So total general funds revenue, $2.7 million. The transfer out, this is the last year we'll be paying, we borrowed $300,000 over 5 years when we had to settle the TIP situation concerning the property across from Quick Trip. This is the last year that's coming out, but that's required. With that, we borrowed that from our sewer account. And then, so now we have our expenses, this is the admin. And if you want to, we can look at these real time for, we've got Matthew built a spreadsheet, I updated a little bit, that has what's going to be the logger's expense, salary over time, and taxes. And we can go that spreadsheet and change. Right now, you're looking at 5% increases. Yes.
Are you anticipating, I know you said at one point you were only gonna be here through April, is that an anticipation, or is that?
It would probably be, if anything, part-time. So yeah, that salary should go down.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. You guys make plenty of money off me right now, both income and expense wise. So anyway, do any of those costs look out of Anybody got any questions? Because those are costs that Matthew came up with and I verified, and I think they're pretty good, but that doesn't mean that they're what we need.
David brought this up when he and I were having a conversation about some of the utility bills being split, police, communications.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit, but we have trash that gets picked up here. And every month Matthew's got to do an allocation. It just takes up time and it's a minimal amount. But he divides his trash bill in four, and the four goes to police, communications, administration, and dispatch. I'm sorry, and court. And so Sarah's paying as much as the police department on her trash bill. And I just think if he allows us to track it better, the board would say, let's work on some of these allocations so we don't have to do it. Now electricity, yes, we want that separated, but not between the departments in this building. But Chris has his own utility bill that comes in, and so's Pete, and so's administration, and we have to keep those separate because I don't want Chris keeping the thing at 80 degrees over the weekend when
So the trash, electricity, all the utility bills for this building should come out of admin budget.
I would like to see that.
And that would decrease a workload, and it would decrease line items and printing costs for everything that goes out.
Matthew, what's your thoughts on that?
It's fine, I don't want, I no longer do that allocation, the lease is doing that, I don't, it's not, I don't think.
Someone.
But what's the cost compared to the benefits, what I'm saying? And it's not accurate, it's not like we're doing cost accounting. Sarah does not generate as much trash as the police department does. Promise.
They are way trashier than me.
So the recommendation is just fine with you all, consolidate the those expenses that you have no control over, electricity, gas, trash, to.
We do cleaning.
We do the clean thing too.
Did it ever used to be simplified and then broken apart?
No.
No,
No,
it's
not
always
for
been
11
broken
years.
apart,
No.
still separately.
Probably before you,
Before that, yeah.
when it
Okay.
was pen and paper and
Oh,
spreadsheets,
okay.
I imagine so.
Okay.
But since computerized and trying to see what departments were expending.
I was just wondering if there was like a reason to split it apart and now we
There,
just understand what that reason.
there is,
There is no.
if it's like public works, because then you have a sewer fund that we can't use. And the whole
Road and
idea is to
street.
keep the money, road and street too, and to keep the money as much as we can into those targeted funds.
But whatever bill, this building, trash utilities, your building trash utilities, your building trash and utilities, that should go to those buildings, not
Correct.
to the individual. Well,
Correct.
it has to go to your department.
It will go.
So the split between fire and EMS for utilities, I'm not sure if the
Just do
bill
away with it.
is broken up that way, but just under one.
Yeah.
One spot,
Right, decide what's.
Figure
what you
one
want on it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do that.
yes.
And I would suggest put it on the fire side because our fire side budget is so much smaller than our EMS because all the salaries come out of the EMS, except mine.
Okay.
But, so, we've got a number of things that are just doing, they get split down the middle.
So if you don't mind, we could sit with the department heads, run those through, and then get back to the board, what we've done.
Yes.
Okay. And you've got like a certain fire tax that needs to be in the fire department, but your expenses already in the fire department carry that
Yeah.
tax, so.
Because those bills, you have trash and utilities that are billed to your facility, so that won't change that.
It's just like computer admin. Let's just eat at one spot, then we can track it better. But if you do something special for software, if you call MDL and say, I need this software thing, then it will hit your book. Like if, for instance, Chief McKinley had to put some new laptops in his cars, and we get that specific bill from MDL, and we can run that directly through the department. But as far as the entire monthly MDL bill, just run through admin.
Do we have a-
Just the budget.
Do we have like a contracted price with them
Yes.
each month?
that we pay, and then we pay additional if we call them, or is it, how's MDL
To me,
comparing?
Maggie,
Yes and yes. We have.
They bill us twice both ways?
Yes.
Potentially.
Ouch.
yeah, so we
There's
try
a-
to.
That's-
These are enormous. I looked at over
Paying a lot.
20.
I know,
Yeah.
I can't
Well-
get the volume on the TV during court, and I don't wanna call MDL, because I don't wanna get charged.
Yeah,
But see, we can fix that internally first.
Yeah,
before we call
I'm gonna
it.
try.
I had no idea it was like that until we were having problems with our
Right.
water system.
I thought
And
it
he
was
was here for a few
monthly.
days and charged us, and I had no clue. I
Yeah,
thought it was just a flat fee.
not with these guys, and that's something maybe we could look into getting something like that. All right.
Were we able to find a contract for MDL?
My understanding was there is no contract. It was a handshake.
Okay.
Who's India?
We can, I'm sure we can ask what they got,
IT.
but if we don't have a contract, we can move it.
Can we fix that?
Make it help, Mr. Matthew, please. All right, so that's computer admin. And server hardware and software. This is something too where, that's one of the reasons why this allocation thing came up, because the server and software deals were. We'll adjust that. We put $28,000 in, and that's gonna encompass.
Server hardware and software.
Okay. So any questions on that one?
I remember seeing the capital purchases expenditure. Is that the reason for the 28,000 on row 62 on server hardware software?
No, and we'll get to that in a second. Okay, see that loggers in column Q?
Yeah.
13,230. So we've got another spreadsheet now that if I go out here and change the rate from 5% to 4%, and we go back to the budget, you're gonna see that number change. So when the board decides they want to set a rate, we'll automatically have those things calculated. So I'm gonna go back and change that to 5%. That's what we've done right now.
Yeah, let's see where we end up after we go through all this, and then we can
Right, then we can play with it.
see if our estimated income will take care of this.
Okay, so there you go.
All right.
You got loggers, equipment. Any questions there? Go down to work comp with Burma.
So property and liability insurance is gonna stick with each department,
Yeah, I want to see the breakdown when they send it to us,
okay?
because if it's not, if it's just one figure,
I'm thinking it's probably not. But I don't know.
I don't know either.
Have you seen?
Matt, you know Rob for that?
It is, it's another one that requires some allocation on our part, but it is broken down by, it's by employee classifications, which is largely by department, but not totally by department. So that's why there's some, when we get that bill, there's some work required on our part. But what you'll see on the budget is solely by department.
Is that the same way with like auto insurance?
That's a lot cleaner.
What about work comp?
So work comp is the lower comp.
Oh, okay.
So the cyber liability insurance in each department, because it seems kind of low.
No,
No.
that's
for-
just one.
For
If for whatever reason, cyber liability, the cost went down.
how much coverage.
Same coverage.
Like I said, with the increase in cyber attacks,
We'll just get the bill and council authorizes, we'll pay it. But that's to a third party, Merman does not provide that themselves, it's to a third party. Run it through the big stream and get it. So, all right, so.
Okay, TIF related expenses,
Those, will come out of the tip expense, so too, but we, go ahead, I'm sorry, finish your question.
Well, should that be under that restricted expense?
It will come out of that account, is there,
Is there a reason why it's under general? Are those refundable? That's a weird term for TIF. Whatever's expended for TIF that doesn't meet the criteria that the developer is supposed to reimburse us for those? Is that what that is?
That's possible. That was a line that goes back a number of years, so.
Because I thought all TIF-related expenses went to that restricted account and they were reimbursed to the city in that, under that restricted account. So I don't know why that's there.
okay, we'll look into that, thank you, make that note, please. Okay. So the salaries, you'll see that's bumped, that's because we added me. And also, when you did the budget for 2024, you had 3 full-time people,
Yes.
and now we have 30.5 as of right now. And again, that hopefully goes down. So salaries, after discussion with all of them and Messemer, we have put all Lisa's overtime, Matthew budgeted 100 hours for the year. That we split that with court, so
You think Lisa's gonna get 100 hours of overtime?
that's what was on the spreadsheet there.
Well, that's because you guys guessed on that. I don't even get 100 hours of overtime.
And I think that's probably largely based on the previous position that wasn't split. So that's another thing we can look at, that dash shot.
Yeah, well, this number here is generated on 150 hours of Lisa, 50 hours for you, and then I think you put yourself down for some, well, I've got it right here, hold on.
I think it's inaccurate.
Okay, well, we can change that, that's why we put this thing together. Okay, so salary, we've got
OT hours, 50, 200 for the clerk, 50 for the HR manager.
yeah, that's spreadsheet. Okay, so right now, we've got Matthew at 260 hours overtime, city clerk 50, and assistant city clerk 50, and HR manager 50.
Why? How do you figure all these people need overtime?
It's probably based on previous employees,
Right, which, yeah.
which hopefully,
But so far this year, how's that? Do you know how much you've got? Can you go off of like this year with the staff this year?
We can look at the budget and it'll tell you what it is extended. So if you go to 2025 budget,
Matthew, are you seeing any
overtime, it
change
shows.
in your workload and hours?
I think that 260 is high. I think that number could be closer to.
On the extended, you're showing
Yeah.
$7,200, but on the actual extended, you're.
Okay, so how many hours for you, how many hours for Lisa, how many hours for HR would you suggest?
I'll tell you now, Lisa does not want any overtime.
Say that again.
Lisa does not want any overtime. She says she doesn't, she hasn't ever needed it, she said up there. And that's even with her being part-time up there, part-time with me. If she gets close to 40 hours, we usually are like,
I'm not
peace
hearing
out.
that there would potentially be any overtime for the assistant city clerk or the HR manager. So if the board is comfortable making that 0.
Okay.
And
So-
how many for you?
So you want to make Lisa 0. And what about Georgia, that she
Should
should
be
be
0.
I don't
Reason
think-
for them to do
Oh.
overtime.
The only thing is, then what would come about, if you're not here, Matthew, if Lisa presided on council,
Right, I think she could still flex her hours to wherever. she would.
Okay,
If the will of the board is to avoid the overtime, I think we can make that happen.
okay.
Lisa's kind of like me, once you hit like that 40, if it's feasible to take off, we do, so that we don't incur overtime. Not saying, like, I still get overtime because I'm late for court, or if the judge calls me, or police in the middle of the night, but ideally, we don't do that.
And it's not a known plan or thing of during
Right.
this week, we will definitely have overtime every year because.
We just work harder while we're here.
Okay, so in Matthews, that's a very reasonable 5 hours a week, so.
And I assume
It's a
your
guess.
overtime
It
largely
could-
covers the board meetings, right?
Sorry, Glenn.
I'm sorry. I assume your overtime largely centers around your time to part of the board meetings, where you are here 40 hours a week plus every other Monday for, an extra
That's
2,
certainly
3
the
hours.
biggest chunk of it, yes.
Okay.
So everybody's good with that schedule right there?
Looks good. What did you change the?
We did this.
Okay, now that, when we go,
260?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's around 5 hours.
it's 5 hours a week.
Pay periods. Okay.
Now, when we go back to the real budget, you're gonna see those salaries have decreased. So if you got a hard copy on here.
I think you just need to hit the little X on the right hand side,
The little X on the right.
underneath the little blue icon. Go all the way to the right
Over
side,
there.
up, a little bit left,
Right
down,
there. That one?
down, no, hit that X button.
Goes that down.
But the X button below that blue icon. So hit that,
I'm trying.
and then there's another X, hit that X,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, so there's that. Now I just gotta find the budget again.
David, do you want a mouse? Because my laptop's up here,
That would be,
and I have a mouse.
I'm sorry, I just closed Excel.
There's a little plug in that. I can't use a laptop without a mouse.
I'm using,
I mean, your
Well, you
town.
were using Excel online, okay, it's gonna pull up Excel online again.
there we go. There's the budget. So if we'd like to remember,
Okay, now I make it larger. There you go. Now go.
now I close this,
Perfect.
run this. Oh.
So that's
And then hit that plus button in the bottom right hand corner.
Gotcha.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so now I'm on the wrong column, so.
You're in revenue.
No, I'm talking about the fiscal year. I get somebody younger here to run this for me.
He has the
I
mouse.
suggest
You wanna try that?
work with people doing zero computer knowledge. So
Why?
I've got a pretty
I
good
can't
amount of
turn my
patience for
computer
like, oh, you did that, like, no, move over. Okay.
I have my head columns H through S. Mr. Gallagher, you have an idea how I get a pivot H through S? I don't the column width to find it is 0.
That's all the deal, 75% off.
Well, we did have enough mounds of paper.
That's one.
Well, this way everybody gets, knows where we're at too.
Yeah.
See immediate on the computer.
Your block cells.
The headings are frozen.
You want to just hide B through H?
That'd be fine.
Okay. So there are others that,
Yeah, well, we need those, just two, the city members can get to, just I'm Jay.
I said, come closer, I won't bite you. And I said,
Oh,
well,
yes.
that's kind of close, so I'm biting him, he's like, you won't like the taste.
That's scary. China Post.
Yeah. Get a little
You would think Facebook.
just cuts off a little bit. I'm good with it.
Where am I?
As well as people.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's much nicer. Okay, so we have, those are revenues. We were down to salaries and overtime, right? So now we adjusted that, so. It's not. I might mess that up too.
Hit trust workbook link, so see that yellow banner that goes halfway across the middle of the page? Like off white, off white, yeah, down. There's two white. Right there.
Oh, trust. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
hit trust.
Okay.
So we should trust
Right.
that other document.
Yeah, we did that. Okay, so now you see the old times down that 13.08 that y'all came up with. Thank you.
Took out what that there, that's good.
Yeah, every time I say that, I get the trust button in there. I did not see that up there. Thank you.
Yep, no worries.
Okay, so there you go. With salaries at 244, overtime now 13,000.
Okay, so telephone, cable, internet will change because we're gonna pull it in there, right?
Going to bring it, it won't change overall, so it won't change your bottom line, but it will change
Okay.
the different ones. Okay, cell phones, trainings, meetings, and lodgings, utilities, drive service on admin will increase, but it'll decrease the other places, so. See, we're splitting $15 a month on trash service and just, yeah, extra work. Okay. So the payroll taxes adjusted when we did the overtime. You guys are looking on your regular. So admin expenses, 606,000 compared to 525,000 extended from 2024. And again, that includes raises, but also includes my salary.
And that, it seems like it's also an increase in computers, software.
Yes, yes. And you can look at columns R and S on your spreadsheets when you get, what's it, email this out there by when we're done. But you can look at R and S and see where
it's changing.
the changes are.
Okay.
See, and that helps you find out
Appreciate
different things. Okay,
that.
then here's the collectors, that's pretty generic. Has anybody got anything on that? Okay.
Is there anything? It doesn't look like refund ambulance billing, refund licensing. That must be the fireworks stands, the refund licensing.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, we got a bunch of zeros in actual incentive.
okay, so the contract service with county, and Matthew, correct me, but, because I'm just assuming, we pay the county collect our property taxes, and they probably bill us,
They should be.
but I would also think that they would have billed us for our collection that we received in December of 24 this year,
I wonder where that's
I
been.
mean,
coded.
December 23, so. we'll figure that out, but this right here, we think it's an accurate figure because that money went, the county didn't, let's not pay that.
They probably took their cut when they remitted to us.
I don't know what happened, but that's another thing we can look into.
So that may have thrown real estate and personal property off, whatever,
It could.
because it was netted.
Lower income, lower.
So is P accurate or is it O? Because I'm confused. It shows zeros and O, but.
Yeah, in and O are likely, they're gonna do more research in. P and Q are, well, Q is what they're looking for. So M and Q, Mike Quebec, those are the anticipated numbers.
Okay.
The 50 or the 500 is pretty high though.
Permit go from like 50 to 500.
What do you think that's what?
Road 104,
Refunded permits, because look at how much has been refunded this year.
yeah,
That's true too. That's good, fine.
And why,
So
yeah, that's pretty high.
Matthew, that line 104, can you see that refunding permits? We've gone from $4,600 expended. You can see it was only $50 in the budget.
Are those refunds related to like building permits?
I'm assuming that. I don't handle anything.
If somebody gets a building permit or a
That's-
construction permit, you pay and then you get that money back? No?
No.
Okay, so that.
It could be for, tell me if I'm wrong, now, you guys dole those out. It could be for a job that gets canceled.
I mean, that's reasonable, but that's very rare.
Yeah.
You would get a permit and not do the job.
Can we
Yeah,
pull
so-
the invoices that justify the 3,500? Like our actual, where did we send out 3,500?
Would that also be,
you can totally pull the detail of that expenditure.
Exactly, yeah.
would that
Yeah, not necessarily going all the way to the invoice. but you can-
include any
Yeah.
refunds for a business license?
So
Would it include any refunds for a business license on a job that didn't have?
60/12
Well, that's-
licensing refunds.
It seems like sometimes I think there's been, license has been paid twice and has been refunded, but that should have been split between licensing and permits. So if you look at the detail of what's been coded there, you'll probably see what's happened.
But can someone explain to me why the refund permit is like actual 3,500, but our budget is 500?
That's what we're asking them to look into.
Okay.
Whether we should justify increasing it up to it if that number's real, or keeping it down low if that number is just wrong, it needs to be pulled to a different expenditure.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So checking into it.
We also asked, are you looking into about the business permit at the church? You know,
Oh, yeah.
if they're all, because now I'm noticing a food truck. Have you all noticed it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, on the property, you know, separate from it, it's outdoors, food truck, and I said, is it not permitted?
The food truck at Amco has a permit. Here's the thing with the church. It is one business that leases space to all these other places, so I think they would be businesses, but that's not the way we've been collecting on. Maybe it was a deal when you guys met with the church leaders or whatever.
There's now a food truck parked in the church parking lot.
I thought that wasn't gonna happen. I missed it.
No,
there.
it's
No, it's
parked
there.
there,
How's
it's open.
I thought there was something to do with electrical bills in it. that didn't come up with anything.
No, so you have to find out about that.
They requested a electrical meter
Right.
to run that truck. And he was told by Evergy, needs permission from the city. I reached out to Evergy and the church. The meter was gonna have to be in the church's name. And when I talked to the guy at the church, he said, absolutely no way. So I told the truck owner, church isn't allowing it, so you're gonna have to use a generator like every other food truck.
All right, so now we're down to fire. We'll get those answers. Matthew, you write down these line items and stuff, thank you, because I think I should have highlighted and yelled at if I screwed something up, but I need to do that. Lawyer retirement, that's based on the chief's salary. And why it's lower is because we were calculating it. Incorrect, this is off the chief's check, right, chief? Is that?
So, yeah, for whatever reason, the money that additional money that I took out of my check that I wanted to add to my deal was captured there. So that 4,200 is not accurate. A lot of that is my personal money.
The 2479.
2470.
Oh, the 4,200 up there, okay, I'm sorry, yes.
Outside the extent.
Yes, yes, yes.
That actual number is the number. So that's what.
2479.
That's what the city's considered, the 3% of the city contributes.
Okay.
No,
So, then gas and oil. If anybody's got any questions, chiefs in the room, you can ask. Vehicle repair, 9,000. You can go to the detail what you like to get with us. Fire department maintenance, copier lease, recruiting.
So recruiting expense, we doubled. What we did, recruiting expenses are basically the cost of the background checks and physicals that we charge, that we get charged. Instead of having it split between, under EMS, you'll find that we got rid of that one, so that it's double, but it actually is not. But just combined, there's no split right now.
Okay. Fire equipment, 2,500. Personal protective equipment, 4,000. So, just any questions, ask away. Chief's got. Now we're looking at column Q, it's your budget.
And I don't know if the work comp insurance is split unevenly. I don't know is that based on the fact that if my salary comes out of revenue, that's my work comp, because it's work comp or EMS is like 23,000. And then that's for fire. I don't know how that works.
It's based on essentially number of employees, so that's why, what's that show?
And it's based
9,500.
on, we're based on what they do, because you're probably considered more admin than rushing into fire and EMS, so your rate is probably a different rate.
We'll take a look. We'll get that bill. We should get that bill before. I'm guessing, we get that bill before the end of the year, so we could update it when we get the bill. Take a look at it, work through the review report. All right. Memberships, miscellaneous, postage and shipping, running, chief salary. Got it.
Okay,
Questions?
fire station supplies and office expense, are you doing something?
We'll roll them together
Okay,
because we've got two line items that don't total $1,000 and
Well, yeah, I think we had an office expense, we had shipping, we had stamps. I think we just wanted to roll all that one. The station supplies do need to be different from office expense. Station supply, do cleaning supplies that we do get, and that kind of stuff.
those utilities, actually, volunteer expense. Yeah, I would think volunteer, those that are classified as straight volunteer versus those that are also fire EMS are also part of that workman's comp.
so your total fire department expense as of right now is $194,000 for the budget, was $30,000 more we budgeted last year, and $8,000 more than what we actually had.
So, but to be accurate, so, when we were, like at the last meeting, you said that, that I only had 12% left in my fire budget. That wasn't accurate because of the grant we got. The city paid $19,000 for that grant, but we didn't have it budgeted. So it looked like we were at a 19% deficit, but we got that $19,000 back. So the actual budget is increased by $20,000. $20,000 that increase is actually grant money. So that's my goal, is to get $20,000 worth of grants each year. So it's not actually increasing the budget by $20,000.
Correct. That was just a line item that I need to keep adjusted. Okay, so there you go. Now we go to EMS. Same categories. Advertising, which is now her fire, gas and oil.
So, okay, copier lease, are you wanting to put that underneath one
Yes,
place?
yes. There's only one copier over there and it works for both places, so we can drop that.
And recruiting expenses, you're pulling it and putting it under.
That should be to zero.
You want that zero, chief?
Yes, because that's what we picked up on.
Right.
Side.
So on copier lease, did you increase it on the fire side?
Let's go see. Let's go see. Yeah, real quick. Tell me when you see copier lease.
I assume those were because those were actually physical devices.
There we go. We got $1,100 there.
You had
So-
1,200 in the other one, so
You want to just make that 1,300
chief,
and then take it out at EMS? On the copier lease.
I never seen them.
Right. Right. Okay.
It could be an edit.
All right, so now we're,
well, if it's physically located in your building, you
Yeah.
physically have whatever.
I've never, that's the building comes in. I have to take out a receipt.
yeah, so get copier lease now.
Okay, so
We
make
take that
it,
down to zero, right?
We just added $100 to copier lease and fire.
if I added 1,200.
No, we went from 1,200 to 1,300, so it needs to be 2,400.
As we take it out
Oh, yeah. What we say, 2,300?
2,400, I think,
2,400?
12 plus 12.
I thought it was 12 plus 11, so okay, 2,400. Okay, sorry about that. So, because it's only one expense.
Yeah.
Okay, so here now we're back to EMS. Questions on any of that? Work comp insurance. Then we have.
What normally gets put in miscellaneous there? I mean, we've got $0 currently.
Well, yeah, this, I think one year we paid for half of the, mulch.
Okay.
Just kind of whatever.
Ground teaching.
Okay.
Do we have it at zero now?
Yeah.
No, we've got
Up to
500.
500.
Just pull it forward.
We'll have,
Okay, it's there for use if you need it.
Yeah, it's there in case something miscellaneous comes up. Okay, so then you get posting, shipping, your salaries.
I do want to make,
You want to talk about that?
yes, I do. So that incentive and overtime that pay, that looks like it's 59,000. So how that was captured, that's not accurate. So what that number is actually, that's the pay for that whole day. That's the regular pay plus the time and a half. The actual cost of the incentive program, the weekend incentive, and all the holidays is
Much lower than that.
a third of that, so it's $20,000 a year. Just know that the 10 holidays and roughly the 16 weekend, 34 weekend days all of those days, so that's 44 days that were actually on straight time would have come from the regular salaries. But the way it's captured, those days now, the full day becomes in that incentive program. So just so you know, that's, getting rid of the incentive program does not get rid of the $60,000. The cost is actually 20. But that's just the way, captured. So.
Everybody good with that? It's just accounting, but yeah. All right, and I'm sorry this is running over, but this is important. All right, so tire and EMS bills at 515,000. You can see where compared to 2024 budget, 2024 actual. All right, now let's go to police. And we changed these, we'll get to that when we get to the salary line.
So the cleaning expense, you want to pull out of there?
We're gonna pull that out too, but let me get in there where we can write down the numbers, make sure we move it all out. Yeah, the pure lines we have to make,
Yes.
the piddly lines, not the pure lines overall. Any questions on those?
So the computer hardware and the software are additional items.
The software, yeah. For instance, if they bought something, a cable or anything that was classified as hardware, it would go into there for the specific to their department. And getting the cars online last year, hopefully they're not the same expense, but they might be, so we put in there. Copier lease will move out of there, but we want to consolidate that.
The vehicle repair, we're those expenses related to health damage.
Yeah.
We're just not gonna capture that.
Won't be there next year. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Okay.
All right, so
What's the DUI drug line and why is it the best?
So that comes from our drug recoup. If we get a DWI or a drug arrest, we can have them recoup $100, which would recoup our time having to deal with them. So that goes into that restricted account that we can use for anything that helps us with arrest or prosecution. It have to be radars, in-car cameras, drug test kits, anything like that that assists us in prosecution of a DWI or drug arrest.
so $3,000 is accurate in that number?
Yeah.
Even though it was 8,600, why does it go down?
So you look at the actual, we won't probably spend any more out of that. We bought a $6,000 evidence barcode scanner out of that account. So keep track of our DWI kits and all that stuff.
And you're just not expecting a larger expense next year out of that. Okay.
Hopefully if we do that.
Okay, so you're up in revenue.
No, that row one just says revenue, we're all in expenses. Because
Okay.
they blocked that row.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
okay, we're.
that's general, it says general fund revenue, and I didn't know how
I said
to
it's
not
easy.
block one. I know. I wanted the headings to come down, and I did not want the A1.
You can designate multiple blocked rows so that when you're in it, revenue, it locks, and then once you hit expenses, then that row locks. It's a little advanced though.
All right, so here we go. There's your, now we're down to copier lease, so now we're down to loggers. Equipment, maintenance. Anybody got any questions for the chief?
Have we had a salary line yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
We will, then we're gonna
And-
turn it
okay,
over to you.
Health insurance,
Health insurance,
that's based on a certain number of employees you think are gonna,
yeah, he's added to the first of the year, and so those people, while the actual for 2024 will be lower, which we paid that for a whole year, it's gonna be higher. It's just an estimate. I think it's very, very reasonable. Chief, did you want to add to that or anything?
No.
Okay, so now,
I think more people are taking our insurance too, as well.
I'm insurance, work comp, memberships, postage, running.
postage meter rental?
That's going, we did away with that
Okay.
because we were paying a fixed price every month, and why are we doing that? And so we ran our meter down to nothing and then sent it back in what he's paying. I think our cost came out to like, it was actually, when you look at the overall cost, it's cost about 6 cents more to send out a letter than it was getting that. Okay, now the salaries, let me go back to that salary spreadsheet, because when Chief gave this to us, we had 3 officers, the 3 officer vacancies were filled, and as was the sergeant. And so you'll see we moved those down to 0, but we've also moved down here, so we got to capture the salaries in case somebody wants to. But the numbers you're seeing on the budget are the salaries, the overtime, and the retirement, and the taxes from not having these 3 salaries in the budget, not having this sergeant in the budget. And so we can adjust that, flow that through, Alderwoman.
Because that's what we ended up doing for the 2024 budget, was pulling out the monies allocated for those salaries that we haven't been able to fill, to see where we were and then what we'll need when we can fill those positions.
Be more realistic.
Yes, instead of pulling in from our savings to adjust to make it balance, when do we have the hope? Do we actually have those folks in place? So it makes it a more realistic budget by not including those one, unfortunately. So we've got our detectives included.
And excluding vacant positions doesn't remove the positions. Like, that still allows hiring to occur and for the salaries to be.
Right, and let's say Chief does hire 2 people, they're not gonna come January 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll roll in, so it gives us a point to start at, what it looks like. And then hopefully we're in the black. We'll see as how it plays out. Communications is another one that needed to be figured that way, because I think there's vacancies in communications.
Well, there's one, but that's being filled, right, Chief, before the first of the year.
Is that a
Chief and I had
full-time?
a conversation today. Yes, it's a full-time,
You know, we only have one open.
right here on row 8,
Okay.
and I think
And
here,
part-time folks, does that change?
Yeah, well,
we talked about that.
it's kind of iffy because now that we're getting more full-timers, there'll be less hours for part-timers. But I mean, if you went off this year's, it's about 2,200 hours. But I think you can cut that in half probably. Easy.
So it's got 832 hours for part-timers up there. That's an itty bitty.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that's a good number?
David, can you increase the zoom on this one too? It's separate from the others.
If you do 100 hours.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
How many part-timers do we have?
Like 8, I think.
Okay. Because at that time, it says 11.
I would have to go down and count. I don't think there's 11.
Okay. But we didn't, because we didn't have the full-time staff at that point when we were developing.
Yeah, there's been a couple people leave recently.
Okay.
Yeah, one went to the federal agency. One quit.
So it's just to get what we have filled in the budget and accounted for. Not saying you can't hire them.
Yeah, but that should be filled.
So if you did 1,000 hours, that comes out to about 38 hours of fixed.
So you need to change that 832 to 1,000 hours. And at that rate of pay will cover everybody. Because I think that's,
At the lowest.
2172?
2172 is where I put in this extended with the 5%. Yeah, we use.
2172 is step one.
Yeah, I'd probably move to that 2210.
Move this to 2210.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna bump that 2281, and get it all the way through.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now we go back to the budget and
We'll do that.
click on,
Update. Because it doesn't have the update thing on there, there's not so much trust it. Until we log on. Okay, so there you go, salaries. Again, in column.
Okay, are you on police or are you on fire, or communications?
Please.
We're on place.
Back up to.
We have not gotten there yet. So the salaries are,
so that salaries for police are where we have current hires.
correct.
And okay.
All right, so there's your overtime based off the same sheet you saw. So any questions on those line items?
That's our total.
Okay, that's good.
Mine's showing.
Why did this keep popping up, but-
You can hide that Dow symbol and it'll stop doing that. But you can do that later. Don't worry.
Okay, so here's total police is $782,478, which is $16,000 more than last year's budget, $47,000 more than actual.
Oh my gosh.
And you can see the payroll taxes are up 7,500, and all of these salaries up because he's got more staff. So that's bump. It's not like we're giving that department that much more money. How many officers you hired this year? 0 this year. In 2024?
Well, part-timers, we've hired part-timers,
Okay.
but no full-time.
Well, then that should not.
Johnny came on.
Okay, so that's like,
Our last one was, yeah,
then that's a good
Sterling
start.
was our last one, he came in January of last year.
Our 2025 budget is $7,000 more than the actual. I thought we had hired some key officers throughout the year, so apparently not.
Like I said, part-timers we have.
The one you sent us is like 800,000 for that.
That's-
What changed?
Oh, we took the 3 part-time employees off. If you look at it, I'm pretty sure I sent you the payroll
I've
spreadsheet
got
too.
that.
And then the sergeant, and that reduced it.
Okay.
Yeah. These, these are automatically filled based on that salary spreadsheet.
Mine doesn't.
I know, we'll get it updated.
Yeah. It's just
And
that I
emailed out to
downloaded it.
y'all. Okay, so there you go, police at $782,000. Okay, then here's communications. Oops.
So copier lease and all that stuff.
Will be
is gonna
consolidated
stay
in.
Split.
We'll get that.
Oh, you're gonna get that moved out of there too.
Yeah, once we get to the desktop where I'm much
Okay.
more comfortable. We'll
Absolutely.
get the numbers and total up, but we'll have that ready for tonight. Well, I'm assuming the board will want to see this tonight too? Or do you want to just hit highlight? I don't know if you want to do the whole thing, but
Because we'll be here for hours if we do.
I know.
how about if we can, how about the department heads and Matthew? I mean, why don't we work on it and then send it out? But leave me the email address you want it sent to, so we make sure that everybody gets it. Or maybe Matthew has them, he can send them out, however he does it, because he can, obviously does it well. Okay, so anything else you might see for communications?
So what's our communications total right now?
That's a lot, something. Let's just do it like this. Okay, communications total is $439,107, which is $3,700 more than last year's budget, and $44,000 compared to the extended actual. And the big jumps are right here. It's bills with salaries.
Because we've got people.
We've got people. Chief, you're not working too many communication hours anymore, are you?
I would sit there. Now it's Kramer.
Okay, Sarah, here's your recording.
In court, Sarah gave
Yeah, by
me
age.
health and dental insurance, 6484.
Let's go to that.
So,
That should be 15.
oh, no, go up.
Well, I just changed 6484, that was 0.
No, yeah, to $15.
Oh, to $15.
I mean, that's just a guess from
Okay.
the
The
prior
prior year,
budget. I don't know how the health and dental.
In the
Calculate.
6512
That's what you show on the
line
line.
item, judicial malpractice insurance.
It's the only one I could just find. So I don't know what it would really be, but I just showed your $11.
So 6512,
Yes, should have 400 in there. Apparently, that bill comes in at the end of the year.
Yeah, I assume.
In postage, the 6720, change it to 250. And that's the updates that Sarah gave me.
Sarah, what else you got? Anybody got any questions for the court administrator?
Oh my God.
Then we come on down, and so our court is $143,921, which is $328 more than the budget and $19,000 more than
But you're gonna move trash service out of there when you guys do your
Yes,
cleanup.
yes. And we're gonna try to have that done for tonight. I don't see why we wouldn't.
Depends on who your day goes.
Okay. I do want to update another one, and we'll get that spreadsheet towards the end. If I get with the court, dang it. Okay, so anyway, here's Public Works. And when I update the spreadsheet, the payroll now is going to be the accurate amount for Public Works because we moved part of the sewer part of the road street by percentage, and that's all calculated now, plugged in. So anyway, so if anybody's got any questions on these,
The salaries for the public works folks are, there's a formula that splits in between public works and street and sewer.
correct?
And so that wasn't done for this, but it's gonna be updated.
It's on this one.
Oh, it is?
It's on this one on the stream, but not on the one you've got, unless you got something from me today. Okay, I will email that out, but what we've done is I have to go to the payroll ones.
Is our dog kennel, is it,
Yeah.
if we spent 2,300 or an estimated 2,300 and budgeting 1,000, is that?
Hopefully our cost for dog kennel is gonna go down next year because we're not gonna be keeping dogs as long.
So the breakdown, Chris's whole department is 25% goes to public works, then
So in your board packet.
45% goes to streets,
This is
and
the word.
the remaining 30% goes to sewers.
Tonight's pack. For us to have the ability to not go
Yeah, that's,
into charge for surrender.
okay. So here's what we have. Loggers, engineers, equipment. All the way through. Any questions there? Maintenance service membership, posted salaries.
What's the difference between extended and extended actual?
This
Like, how
is
do you go down from extended to extended actual?
extended 12/24. And what we are doing is we're comparing the 25 budget to the 2024 actual, which is the extended actual. So this number,
Oh, I got you.
okay, this 2025 budget, we take that from this 11,879 to get that.
Okay, another, gas and oil. Extended is 8,000 and our budget is 1,000?
So that's it. So you'll see when we get to street, I have gas and oil in the street too. And you'll see that it's the reverse, it's extremely low. Because I accidentally put gas receipts in the public works general fund instead of the street.
Okay, okay.
Other questions, salary overtime in this for supplies? Guys, you both picked up, I think I skipped a page. So what we have, we're actually, for public works is $167,000. The budget was $22,000 less than the 24 budget, 13,000 more to extended actual. Okay, then Parks Fund. Mary, we budget $8 million in parks this year, all these zeros.
I'm here to submit it, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, we kept the parks budget the same as it was in prior years. And so it's total park expense of $9,300.
And, when we actually meet now, we know where we can go for expenses. Can we, actually submit something,
Yes.
especially the mayor's tree lighting?
Those will be expense this year. You'll get them, and we'll make sure we get expense through. So,
Well, like I said, that it may be, you have to adjust as things go up. Expenses and. We haven't been able to have a meeting, we have Wednesday,
very good.
about our budget.
Okay, so, and we'll go through that too. So if you look at these last three lines, the general fund revenue is at 2.7 million, expenses 2.9 million, and the net is a negative 228,000. So,
That 228 would become our new encumbered carry forward.
well, plus that, because we kept it encumbered up there, then I didn't pull it.
We zeroed it out.
If we zeroed it, okay, good. So yes, that would be your new encumbered carry forward, which is
Which
less
was
than
what,
last year.
250 or something?
Or was it 4,600?
That's a little more, it was 204.
It was 204, okay.
Okay, thank you. Where did Ruth want us to keep going? I didn't know she left the title go away.
She's my investor.
I think we probably should wait.
And also then, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but where would it go if, we develop a community garden? They're looking into that on a community garden, especially in Hanson Park,
If I come out of parks.
which like
Let's see, you've got,
the improvement capital.
we've got a couple of things. We'll get
That's
to your-
grants on there too.
Yeah, grant money, but then maybe, I don't know.
I'll look into that. Okay. So the idea was to get the department heads together and get all this information, get to you all, so you got time to chew on it, and hope you pass it the first meeting in December, but the latest is the second meeting in December. So all of them, that's why I just pointed out that the encumbered carry forward is 228,167, as we said. And that's with 5%, and that's up to the board. We look at other things too. Okay, so here's street, the budget, the income, okay?
Yeah, if you look at the street.
It's-
gas alone,
So we get a total of $282,000 in revenue and expenses. We could build, baked in the salaries this time. It's 364,000. Why don't I have that equation here? Copy. So it's the same $20,000. Okay.
Well, we can't have a budget of negative 20,000, right?
Well, it's what it does. We can do the encumbered thing too, and put 20,000 back in, or we can just take some
I'm
out.
just saying that that's the only negative number in the expense column.
But this is the revenue minus the expenses, get you at 80/20.
I think maybe you put it in one formula. So the budget should be
That
the
negative
first
should be
20.
negative.
Yeah.
Oh, hold it. I get you.
Yeah.
So equipment capital purchase, I'm gonna show you another spreadsheet. where
So
we've got
P
this.
should be a positive 20 in that line.
Well,
No, because, well,
see, we budgeted $20,000 last year.
Yeah.
And this is,
It is.
yes, so where's that equation?
You can just-
Yeah, we'll fix it later.
but yeah.
So, okay, and then we have street revenue, so the net street, we're down 82,770, which means he take that out, the street fund, if that's the way we kept it.
However, if you put the sales tax in the general fund revenue instead of there
We did not match you correctly, put it in
Okay.
place he said.
into the transportation tax or the sales tax on
There
vehicles,
was some study.
because it was whatever we're going to collect from that report should go into there.
Yes, but hopefully we collect that in 2024. That we should be getting that money from Jeff City, I'm hoping this month or next. Okay. So we'll work on that, but the capital purchases, we don't have anything in there, and we can get to that, but when you look at total road street, we're down 82,770, so we would have to cover that from the road street fund and make that balance. Okay, now here we are with sewer. And
That's the last time we had 60.
the last time for the 60, yes. So that's your revenues, and there's your expenses, and we're gonna gain 11,723 in the sewer bill. So there's no need to try to raise that rate or anything like that. Capital improvements, we have this $450,000 in budget. I've got another spreadsheet to show you that. Oh, that's the revenue, $450,000 in revenue. And here's your expenses, 5,000 for parks, building improvements, annual fire station payments, that. And this 365,000 is over here. If you add these up, these are requests from our department heads for capital improvements this year. And so that expenses 520,000, and so we're gonna have a negative 70,863 on our capital improvements.
That, the ambulance expense, actually, we had changed to 322. We no longer eligible for a $3,000 government rebate on the chassis, and the chassis went up. We approved, that number got approved at 322.
Okay, we'll get that fixed into stormwater expenses. See, that will come out of stormwater deal too, anything that comes out of it is a capital improvement. So anyway, here's the total capital improvement revenue expenses. So we would cut into our capital improvement balances by 70,000, and a big chunk that's the ambulance. And that's why you have these savings accounts, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Then the tip, there's all one, that's what I was talking about before. We have $25,000.
we slightly left a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
2024 stuff.
Yeah. Probably.
Thank you.
So there's your tip expenditures. Mr. Prisoner, incarceration fees, and then here's total of all funds. So we're down $420,000. We have, as of right now, we have $420,000 more in expenses and revenue.
Okay,
But that's without the encumbrance and all that other things.
so that's with salaries of 5%.
Yes. Now, if I go in there and change this thing right there, if everyone wants to spend 420,000, all of them, what, can I show another spreadsheet real quick before we go to that? Sure. This. And I'm gonna update this thing too. Capital purchases. If we look at this this is our capital purchases balance right here as of 10/31.
Figure, please.
Yes. That has not been reconciled yet, so we will get to that. Okay, so let me get that. And then we added in the $450,000 that will come in. So the total available for 2025 is 14,627,34.89 estimated. And there'll be more because we still have 2 more months of sales tax opposed in there. And then maybe 3, I don't think Matthew's supposed to do October sales tax yet, have you? No. So we'll get that. And that will increase this $1.12 million up here when you post those, plus the other 2 months. We have 5,000 coming out for parks, building maintenance, and you saw these on the other schedule. 25,000 there, fire station annual payment. In public works, Chris wants a lift, and he needs to update a truck bed, sport, and everything. This $15,000 is what the board talked about, allowing chief to purchase a radar machine, and then a patrol rifle for 18,000.
That should be 1,800.
1,800, okay. Chief, while we're at it, Chief, what's your ambulance cost?
322. We also, that does not include, we have the.
Well, we're gonna put it in there right now, 322 even?
Yeah, we have a $7,500 trade-in value on the old ambulance as well, which could offset that.
Sure, we'll put that in there, insert. But I'll give something, no, minus 7,500 on the ambulance.
Back to 314, 500 would be the actual budget.
Okay, so now, if you looked at the year-end balance is 949,000 as opposed to $1 million here. So we dropped that a little bit, but that's why we have these purchases, because we're buying some pretty good things, and if the board does not think so, take them out. But I'm gonna extend this through this afternoon where we'll run this out for at least 5-10 years, because I want to make sure we have enough for your fire truck when it comes up for $1 million whenever. What's that, when we look at the last truck, 4 years ago? You know,
It was a used truck.
That was
Used.
It's a 2010.
But the idea is to have that money in this account, and I'll work with the department heads to make sure that we have what they think will be purchased. That way you keep a running tab of our balance, okay? Because take that, it's important that the board knows that our balance will drop by, it's at $50,000, $60,000, so. And that's pretty good when you consider you're buying this ambulance.
Because it was in the budget, it was supposed to come in this fiscal year, and so we had it accounted for this year. But
So anyway, that's gonna be your capital purchases. So let's go back to the, and Alderman, what would you like us to show? Well, first of all, let's go back to budgets, and I can see that right now, the final budget has us at $420,000, 570 negative, okay? And that's gonna change when we change the numbers on this other spreadsheet.
Okay,
So
what if we do a catch-up of 0.5 from 2022 and 3.2 from 2024? What does 3.7 do?
3.7, and in addition to that 5%?
No.
Okay, 3.7. Okay, now let's go back to the budget. And did I not?
It didn't change.
It didn't change. It didn't change.
I mean, probably because it's not on the same Excel.
Yeah, but there was a line there that said it could trust it. See, here's the equation.
Okay.
It refers back to that.
Oh.
So why wouldn't that change?
Could change it back to 5% real quick?
Yeah. Sure. So it changed all those numbers here.
I go back to
It should have been. It's interesting. I'll have to check the math, doggone, that's what I want you guys to be able to see.
Well, we've made advancements in this kind of meeting by having the civility, so it just wrinkles to iron out. So we're getting there.
Yeah, I think those last two columns, and in fact, we can put the salary in there, and we can do that tonight quickly if you want to run through certain scenarios.
Yeah, see what 3.7 does, get that link, and
Yeah.
let's see where we are.
As far as my recommendation, you can just look at this tonight and change the salaries and see, because we'll make the other adjustments, and I'll give the department heads, and if you want to call another meeting in 2 weeks or whatever, for the, let us know, but
So does this work for the department heads? So in 2 weeks before the next board meeting, to go through this maybe one more time?
let me increase these things, make those allocation adjustments, and I'll send out the department heads, and they sign off, and we'll get it to the board. And hope that will be done before the end of the week. Okay, you guys will all have it, but I can't guarantee you'll get done by the end of the day. And I just want to tell the department heads, thank you, because everybody says, what, that's pushing it, you can't. Yeah, you can. And they put in the effort to get this thing done, and that was huge, because it's very important that the board knows where the taxpayer dollars are going.
So that's why it took us so long to get that 2024 approved.
Yeah.
Because it was paper pushing and calculating and more paper, so I appreciate this very much.
Sounds a cool tool. All right, so thank you. That's up, well, that's up to the chairperson.
Oh.
And the mayor. So our 1 hour meeting has now lasted almost 2, so.
Since we're all part of this, I accept Mr. Gallagher's motion to adjourn. I second.
Okay. Mayor is okay. Adjourn the meeting, right?
I think we need a roll
I'm
call.
fine, I'm just sitting here observing it all.
Roll call.
Any more questions from anybody?
I'm gonna shut this down.
Alderman
Yes.
Nestor, you got anything else more to add?
We're adjourning, 11:15.
Messimer,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Langner.
We're gonna have all those pulled back up though tonight. I'm gonna keep this no change, so that screen stays like that.
No, I want to stay here hours
Hostage deal.
now. Oh.
We got a food truck.
Yeah.